Okay, so this is gonna be about depression. So nowadays, depression tends to be overlooked by a lot of people because they think that it's like a stage that young teen young teenagers go through, and then young adults go through. But like it's really not because the highest age group that depression falls under is young adults because of like the pressure that they go through in school, looking for a job, and just like peer pressure in general. So the three main concepts that I want to focus on in this speech is one, like the origins, two, like what is fake depression and what is real depression and how you can like differentiate between them, and three is like how to like prevent it and how you can like prevent someone from like suiciding. So the first concept is what is fake depression and what is real. So usually real depression is you don't really have to tell people that you're depressed. Like it should already be like known. Like you can tell them like from like time to time, but like usually people that just want attention would just be like, oh, like I'm depressed every day. Like they would just like kind of like crave for attention. And one thing is like how you can tell if somebody's like depressed or not is by like the cuts. If like the cuts aren't like that like severe, then like they're really not like depressed. If that makes sense. Like if somebody says like, oh hey, like I cut myself, but you just see like minor scratches. Like if like, you compare like the minor scratches to like a real cut, then like you'll know like the difference. And the third thing is like with depressed people, like they don't really want to go out. Like you can just tell by that. Like if like your best friend just one day just stops like hang out with you and just says that like, oh, like what's the point of like doing this? And like three, like if like they're giving away their stuff, if like they're apologizing every day, then like yeah, like they have like depression. But like if like you go to somebody and like they just vent and then and like they said that, oh hey, like I just lost my close friend, I'm depressed. And then the next day like they're just like happy, then like they're really not depressed. So that's my first key point, that like you can tell if somebody's like depressed by their actions and not words. So it's like the second one is the origins of depression. So around 500 AD, it was I believe it was the Aztecs or the Egyptians that actually came up with depression. Depression was actually known as melancholia in like the 500 AD, and back then like people thought that like and this goes to like the Renaissance and the Middle Ages, and it's just like the fact that they thought depression or like any sort of like mental illness was like a form of evil from God, that like God punished them, and that this was like a demonic like, and I think it was like entity. So like with those people, like they would just like sacrifice them, like they would just like basically treat them like garbage, no, worse than garbage. So it would just get worse and worse like throughout like the years, until it was 1671 when I believe he was British, when like a British scientist actually like started like studying it, and like then he came up with like these like diets, and then he came up with like plans, activities like getting married, owning a pet, and like just going out. So like, he would come up with it, and like he was actually the first one that actually said that it was depression. So like people would try that. But then like when like the 18th and 19th century came, like people did those things, but like it wasn't like improving. So like that's when mental people and like depressed people would like be on the streets a lot, because like people would just like ignore them. So that caused like the incline of depression back then. Like a good example of this is The Greatest Showman, because like it took place in the 18th and 19th century, and like it showed that like I think it was like deformed people, like people that just look different and like act different, like people like society would like shun them. So like it's like a really good example to like actually like know like how they were treated. And so my third concept is how do you like actually know if someone's wait, I actually got through that. The third one is how do you help somebody and how do you get help? So to get help, like to like not be depressed, it's like easier said than done. But like doctors say that you should get like a hobby, which is like harder said than done, and then you just find somebody that like you can like talk to, and then like there's also like therapists that like that can help you, and there's like psychologists I think that like will prescribe you with like medicine, and then how to like prevent somebody from like like going beyond depression. And it's just like being there for them, like because like when you have somebody that's like active in like your life, then you don't feel as like bad as like you should, because like it actually shows you that like somebody cares, and that somebody like will actually miss you when you're gone. So like this whole speech was about depression and how like it's increasing over the days, because like grown adults they tend to believe that depression is just like a stage, because like it would be like on like the news, and like people would just like say that like they're depressed, but like in like actuality that like depression is like a serious matter that like one should like consider taking in, if that like makes sense, because like cause like cause like you can say that you're depressed, but like you're not. But I mean like you're still sad, and it would just be nice to like have like your parents or like a grown adult like actually like sit down and like talk to you about it. Cause like I'm pretty sure that like like your best friend may like be there, but like I'm sure that it feels way much better if like your parents is actually there for you, because I mean like you spent like your entire life with them, so like, it would be nice if like they would like listen to you. So that's that. And plus like there's so many suicides because of depression. Like I believe 42% depressed people are women, and 29% are men, and most of those people are like in like their late teens and like their early 20s. And and they also have like the highest suicide rates. And like many adults are depressed, but like they don't but the teens like outweigh like the people like in their 40s. So like it's not just a stage, it's actually like something that like everyone should consider into. So yeah.